It is Thursday, March 5th, and we are just a little over 24 hours away from the NHL trade deadline. Things are ramping up, especially on the defensive side. Lots of defensemen already traded, and probably a few more to come as well. We're going to break down what has happened already in the NHL, and maybe a few predictions on what could happen in the next 24 hours. We're also going to get, of course, to our mailbag questions. We have two great questions in the queue. Snake, it's going to be a good show as always, and it all starts right here, right now.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Trust the process. The sickest NHL prospect podcast with Snake and Shayne.
With the fifth overall selection in the 2024 NHL Draft, the Montreal Canadiens are proud to select Ivan Demidov.
It's gonna be sick.
That's right, producer Shayne here, joined as always by my co-host Simon the Snake Boisvert. Snake, how are we feeling today?
Pretty good. We're getting close to trade deadline. Getting very, very close. What are we going to talk about in the coming weeks? Oh, yeah, the draft.
There we go. Listen, when springtime comes around, it is the best time for sports, okay? Because the NHL is transitioning into playoff style, right? And then NBA is in the same kind of vein. The NFL is ramping up, right? The draft is approaching. Baseball is coming back. Springtime is the best time. And we're going to break it all down here on the Sick Podcast, Trust the Process. Quite a few trades that have already transpired across the NHL. Some of them may be a bit of a head scratcher. Others are like, wow, yeah, that's a win-win, a great trade. So we're going to get our takes on all of those. Maybe not the smaller ones, but, the big ones, of course. So let's go back, Snake, actually, to Monday. Because when we recorded our episode, we talked about Chicago Blackhawks former defenseman Connor Murphy and, the fact that he could be an attractive acquisition for the Montreal Canadiens. Well, that's not going to happen. Monday, after we released the show, he was traded to the Edmonton Oilers in exchange for a 2028 second-round pick. Now, the question has to be asked, Snake. Should the Habs have matched that offer or even done better to get Connor Murphy?
I think that was the price to pay. Yes, the Habs could have paid that price, but I would assume that if they didn't, they might have someone else in mind. We'll see by tomorrow. Because, again, you're also wondering, probably Chicago got more than one offer for this guy. They were probably all a second-round pick. So why dealing with someone instead of another guy? Sometimes, there are 32 general managers, but some of them are more familiar with each other. Yeah. So perhaps that's what it is. Who knows? Edmonton, on their part, they're trying to bulk up their defense. They want to make sure that they have some good defensive defensemen on the roster for the playoffs. They also made another trade that we're going to talk about later.
With the Blackhawks again. So you see, there must be some... Stan Bowman worked for the Blackhawks a long, long time ago. But, a long time ago. Maybe, like 6 years ago or so? Who knows? Who knows what happened? But I think for the Habs, we might be in for a little something else tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Now, in terms of this Connor Murphy trade... How would you categorize it? Is it like a win-win? Both teams get away with the
Oilers don't care about picks right now. They have Connor McDavid under contract for 2 more years after the season, so they don't care about the picks. As for the Blackhawks, one might say, "Oh, you need veterans." Yeah, sure, you do need veterans. But the problem with Connor Murphy is that he was going to become an unrestricted free agent, and they probably didn't want to give him what he and his agent wanted. So, he is a useful veteran for a team like the Blackhawks, especially with all these young defensemen. but they're probably going to sign someone else. And look, they get a second-round pick for 2028, a guy you probably won't be playing in the NHL before, if he's playing in the NHL before 2031 or 32.
Yeah.
So, but look, they're just piling up assets, and it's probably that at some point the Hawks are thinking that in a couple of years they might be close to contend, and then they're going to use these picks to make the kind of trades that other teams are making with them today. Chess,
not checkers. I love this trade on both sides. I think this is a really good deal, especially for Edmonton. I think Connor Murphy is someone that they needed. Defensively speaking, the Edmonton Oilers leave quite a bit to be desired. Let's just say that. So hopefully for them, Connor Murphy can help out. Look, I just want to point out, okay, my voice is annoying. I understand that. I apologize in advance. I am battling through a little annoying virus. I don't even know what it is, but we're going to power through this one, okay? And hopefully by Monday, I'm back to 100%.
Isn't your voice always annoying?
I don't know. You tell me.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Much. I don't know.
It was too easy. It was too easy, Shayne. It was too easy.
I gave you a layup, Snake. I gave you a layup. That's a good one. All right. Staying on the train of defensemen here. Yesterday, we knew this was coming, but it was confirmed. Tyler Myers was dealt to his sort of hometown Dallas Stars. This is what the trade looked like. The Vancouver Canucks received a 2027 second round pick and a 2029 fourth round pick. We're way down now, 2029. But what do we think of this haul for Tyler Myers?
Look, it's a very, very typical trade deadline trade.
Yeah.
Myers, however, has one more year left on his contract, and Vancouver is retaining part of the salary, half the salary. So he's only a $1.5 million acquisition for Dallas. So he's going to fit very well under the cap next season for them. Considering all this, I think the return is fair. I mean, probably that it was a second round pick like Murphy, but the fact that they retain salary and the fact that Myers has one more year left on the deal, that boosted it to a fourth round pick. It gave them an extra fourth round pick. So again, in the short term, not a major impact for Vancouver.
Yeah.
But Vancouver, contrary to Chicago, is very low on prospects. So Chicago might be using these picks to contend when they contend in a couple of years or 3 years. But with Vancouver, I think they're not going to contend anytime soon, and they had to restock the cupboard. And we're probably looking, in the case of Vancouver, more like an early 2030s type of team, if they get there. Because their veteran players are aging also. They will be aging in the next 5-6 years. So will it be a new batch of players that lead the Canucks? But poor Canucks fans, I mean, it's I think there's a long way to go. And it's too bad because I really thought 5-6 years ago that they were on the way up, especially when they won one playoff series, and the young guys were amazing, Pettersson and Hughes and Besser. Look, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but Vancouver is probably another team that's starting a rebuild.
Now, how about on the Dallas Stars side, right? They get Tyler Myers, who we know is humongous, I think is the right word. He is a big, big man. Does he still have what it takes to bring value to the Dallas Stars in their playoff push?
As a depth defenseman, yes, I do think so. Because in Dallas, they're not gonna rely on him to be like a pillar. I mean, they have Heiskanen, Lindell, Harley, Lyubushkin. So basically, he probably becomes more like a number 5 defenseman over there, I would say.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah. So it's okay. Like I say, it's a depth acquisition. It's like Colorado getting Brett Kulak. Yeah. It's like Edmonton getting Connor Murphy. Typical trades. These guys are really in demand.
Exactly.
The 30-something defensemen with not much term left on their contract are in demand at this time of year. And they probably have more value now than they do in the summer.
Absolutely. And there's a trend too with right-handed defensemen as well.
Also.
And the next trade is again on par. Mackenzie Weegar, right shot defenseman, goes to the Utah Mammoth in exchange. Now, this is a bigger one, okay? Oli Mata, Jonathan Castagna, and 3 2026 second-round picks. This is a very interesting deal, and honestly, I like it on both sides, Snake.
Yeah, what's happening with this is kind of a different trade because it's more like the kind of trade that a team on the cusp of contending would use. Would do. Sorry, because Weegar has term left, but the difference is that Weegar is a little bit older. So how will his contract age? That's what I'm concerned about right now. Now, the fact that they didn't give any of their top picks or prospects, no first-round pick. I know they give up 3 second-round picks, but, that's what it is. And the Rangers pick is probably going to be a very high second-round pick. But they did not give away their first-round pick, and they did not give away any prospect. No Desnoyers, no guy like that was being traded.
Yeah.
However, Castagna is an okay guy. I think it's in the NCAA right now. I think he's fine, but he's a B prospect. Oli Mata, well, he's been there forever. He's kind of he's an okay player, but I mean, pretty interchangeable. But yeah, my concern is the length of the contract. So I think they wanted the veteran guy in Weegar. I think it's good for 2-3 years. Who knows how it'll end for him. So I like the trade, but for Utah. But at the same time, I'm thinking, is Weegar going to be as efficient when Utah could be closer to contending? Because I don't think Utah is contending right now.
No.
I'm not even sure they're going to win a round this year. But Weegar is under contract for 4 more years. He's going to be 37 at the end of his contract. So I'm a little bit on defense about this one. For Calgary, it's fine. They get 2 second-round picks. They're going to try and load up on prospects. They started doing this in the last couple of years. They have a long way to go, like Vancouver, because even contrary to Vancouver, they don't have impact players that are tradable. I mean, you can see Huberdeau, Kadri, but what are they going to get in return if they trade them?
Yeah.
Maybe Kadri will be dealt by the time this trade deadline expires. Who knows?
I don't think Calgary's done, but...
No, I don't think they're done.
I want to add to the fact that, and it's been reported by several insiders or whatever you want to call them, that the fact that Calgary did move Mackenzie Weegar means that Zach Whitecloud is more likely to stay in Calgary. So a lot of Habs fans right now just got really disappointed because I know there's a lot of people who were hoping to get Zach Whitecloud. I mean, the profile matches what the need is, right? So, in that sense, it kind of hurts. But, I think that makes sense as well for Calgary because you don't just want young defensemen. You kind of need a little bit of experience.
It depends on the offers that they get also. I think if someone offers a late first-round pick for Whitecloud they're going to jump on it.
Absolutely.
But I doubt they're going to get this. I doubt it.
No, exactly. It's probably just going to be a roster player in a second, and they're going to say, no, thank you. We'll pass. We'll keep him. So, I like this trade right now for both teams. I think Weegar could fit well with Utah. Could be a pairing with Sergachev. That could be really nice to see. So, we both really like the way that Utah Mammoth are building and growing. So this is fun for both of us. They get a big player. Hopefully it works out for them. Next trade, Snake. This one confirmed. We're not going to get to the unconfirmed one just yet. That's the big one. But the confirmed one, again with the Oilers and the Blackhawks. Okay, this one's a trade. This one's a trade.
Yeah.
So, the Edmonton Oilers received Jason Dickinson and Colton Dach, Kirby's brother, in exchange for Andrew Mangiapane and a conditional 2027 first round pick. Oh boy.
Dickinson has no term left on his contract. He's a non-restricted free agent. And Colton Dach, I would qualify him as a 13th forward. Yeah. This is not a guy who's going to be playing every game. He's tough, but his skills are very limited. So I think he's more of a 13th forward. Mangiapane, they needed to get rid of him for salary cap reasons. And he was placed on waivers. He's sent to the minors.
Why did they sign him in the first place? That was such a weird...
he had a couple of good seasons. I was okay with the signing at the time, but maybe the term was too long. So for Chicago, look, Chicago can do whatever they want with him. They have a habit of picking up this type of player in the last 4 or 5 years, players that nobody else wants, and in return they get their first round pick. Chicago is accumulating young assets. I mean, Kyle Davidson, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but all we know is that he's all in this rebuild. And and as long as he's not sure that the team is on the way up, he keeps selling and selling and selling. Contrary to Mike Greer, who now thinks that it's time to build for the future because he re-signed Kiefer Sherwood for, if I can just do a little parentheses on Kiefer Sherwood.
Oh, please do.
The guy pretty much had 1.5 good seasons. And the way he plays, will he still be efficient in a few years? It's still $5.75 million. Right now, it doesn't seem like much. But once they have to pay Celebrini and Smith and Misa and Dickinson, I don't know how well this is going to age. I think if there was no salary cap, I wouldn't mind, because at some point, worst case scenario, he becomes a fourth liner towards the end of his contract. The way Barclay Goodrow is a fourth liner right now in San Jose. So he's the next Barclay Goodrow, probably. I just don't know how it's going to fit against the cap at this time. At least the trade protection on the contract is front loaded. So towards the end, they probably could dump him to, a team that needs to reach the floor. Will it be Vancouver? Will it be Calgary? Will it be, the Rangers? Who knows? Who knows at the time who will be rebuilding? But I think I don't know what to say. I think Sherwood is going to be good for a couple of years, but the Sharks, although they're on the verge of making the playoffs, they're still a few years away from being Stanley Cup contenders. So I'm not crazy about that signing. But getting back to Edmonton, one thing that and the Sharks, there is something that was confirmed yesterday with that trade. The Edmonton Oilers owed the Sharks their 2026 pick, top 12 protected. And if the Oilers were going to be in the top 12, they were going to give them their 27th pick. But the condition was, if they traded the 27th pick before the trade deadline in 2026, which is now, then the 2026 pick becomes unprotected. Oof. Now, okay, there is a world, there is a path where the Oilers miss the playoffs. They get maybe the 16th or 15th pick. They win the lottery. They go up 5. They go up to number 5 because you can't climb up more than 10 positions. They go up to number 5, and then that trade for Jake Wallman last year will have cost them the 5th overall pick. Okay, but this is a long shot. Don't go bet on this.
No,
because
the fact that it's a possibility,
chances are the Oilers are going to make the playoff. Yeah,
exactly.
But still, it kind of confirmed that trade. Then it's the same protection for Chicago, top 12 next year, unprotected the following year. Look, the Oilers right now are on a 2028 timeline, which is Connor McDavid unrestricted free agency.
Yeah.
So they have 2 seasons plus 3 playoffs to try and win the cup, convince McDavid to stay. So it's hard to criticize what the Oilers are doing, because I think in the first place, they made the mistake of not being able to build for 11 years, or at least the first 9 years, because they reached the Stanley Cup Finals. Let's be honest. The first 9 years, they were not able to build a decent team around Connor McDavid.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're paying for that right now. And Stan Bowman, I have to say, was not a very good general manager in Chicago. He was not able to manage his assets. He's the reason why Chicago went down, and he was not the reason why they won the cup, because when he got there, the team had already pretty much been built by Dave Talon. And in Edmonton, he inherited the team that was managed by Chiarelli and Holland. And I say these 3 guys, they're pretty much one of, it's pretty much, these 3 guys, I think they're like the same general manager. They come from the same tree. They're just 3 branches of a tree of general managers who basically don't care about asset management. They just care about adding players as they become available and throw it out there and hope they win. And, Chiarelli didn't win anything in Edmonton. Holland didn't win anything. Holland in Los Angeles is bringing the team down. And Bowman in Edmonton, now he's just hoping. But can you believe that on his CV, Stan Bowman has 3 Stanley Cups and 2 Stanley Cup Finals? I mean, this is a Hall of Fame CV when you think about it.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Hall of Fame CV. Yeah.
Look, listen, the first trade between the Oilers and the Blackhawks, I'm a fan. Connor Murphy for a second, absolutely all day you do that. This one, a first, listen, I understand that you needed to move Mangiapane, so I guess you pay a little extra to move him on top of getting Dickinson and Duck. I understand. But it's the concept of giving a first for Dickinson and Duck that kind of, en bon français, ça me chicote. I don't love it.
Yeah.
So,
look, we might all have to shut up if the Oilers win the cup within the next 2 years.
Exactly. And
they have Connor McDavid.
There you go. Like, Stan Bowman knows that he only has about 2 years to give McDavid a cup for him to stay. Otherwise, he's packing his bags. Like, he's out of there. So I understand, but at the same time, don't love it.
Because remember, they're going to be gambling after next season. If they keep McDavid until 2028, they lose him for nothing.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's almost as if a decision has to be made not this summer, but the following summer of 2027.
Precisely. Oh boy.
So in order for them to not be caught the way the Leafs were caught with Mitch Marner.
Yeah, they got Nicolas Roy.
Minnesota, Vancouver decided to be proactive. They dealt Quinn Hughes. They knew he was gone.
They got a haul for him. So, yeah. There you go.
That's big decision to be made next year in Edmonton. And obviously, this is going to be a decision the owner will make.
Snake, moving along now. Another trade that kind of took me aback. Is one that happened just recently. And by the way, we're recording this at about noon. So, we're keeping tabs. If you see me looking to the side here, I have Twitter open. So I'm trying to see if anything comes through the wire here. But this is the most recent trade, not a big one, but one that kind of got me a little bit. Vegas traded for Nick Dowd, a fine 4th line center, in exchange for Jesper Wickman, a goaltender, a 2027 third-round pick, and a 2029 second-round pick. Listen, I know 2029 is way down the road here, but a second and a third for Dowd?
Interesting trade. Against Vegas doesn't care about picks.
I guess not.
They don't care at all. Picks for them is like money in your wallet to buy stuff. Yeah, or let's call it a credit card because you're paying with futures. So yeah, picks are a credit card for them. I think for Washington, I thought they could have been buyers, but I suspect that they could be sellers and buyers. I don't think they absolutely need Nick Dowd to make a playoff run. I do think that they could add more by tomorrow afternoon, so we can discuss it on Monday if I was right or wrong. Look, anytime you can trade like an aging fourth liner for a second and a third, although these picks are like way down the road, why not? The goalie. I mean, goalies are voodoo. It's you never know if this guy becomes a number one goalie in the NHL one day. We'll go back to that obscure little trade of March 5th, 2026. It's happened before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, trades that go under the radar, and then 6-7 years later, oh, that was that trade. So that's what it is. It's like Brett Kulak being traded to Edmonton. The pig became Lane Hudson, and it was a really under the radar trade. I mean, for Habs fans, there was like something at stake, but for not draft, but insiders from other from networks, I mean, didn't really care about that Kulak for a second trade at the time.
No,
it was a really minor trade. So we'll see what happens, but I think for Washington, it's good. For Vegas, look, they're just getting depth and they want to get tougher. They always think Stanley Cup every year. And they've been struggling lately.
Team,
but they had injuries.
They are a weird team this year. They wouldn't even make the playoffs if they were in the East. Did you know that?
I know.
They wouldn't make the playoffs if they were in the East.
Pacific Division is pathetic.
Oh!
Yeah. Let's call it the pathetic division right now.
Oh, couldn't have said it better.
Another year, they might be the strongest, but there's it's a rotation, you know. It's some years. I remember many years ago we were saying, the Eastern Conference is not good, and now look at the Habs division. The Habs division used to be quite weak, aside from Tampa and Florida and Boston, and now, I mean, almost every team is good.
Yeah. Except the Leafs.
Yeah.
Snake, let's get to the big one now. And this one has yet to be confirmed because Colton Parayko needs to waive his no-move clause. But you know, according to Darren Dreger, he's going to Buffalo. He's going to Buffalo, and in return, the St. Louis Blues would be getting Radi Murtka and a first-round pick.
Okay. Woo! Well, this is what it is. This is an older guy who still has term, so which can be good or not. You like it when a 26-year-old still has term, but when a 32-year-old who's not having a great season still has term, it's tricky. Yeah. Buffalo, I think it's a little bit of overkill because they do have young, good, efficient young defensemen. They're having a good season. I don't know why they're adding another one in this case. But I guess they want size on defense and in general. But it goes to show you, we're looking at that trade where basically it's the guy being traded is a number 9th overall pick. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Murtka. I had him ranked much later. I don't know what he's going to become. I think he's going to become an NHL player, but I don't know how good he'll be. But the point is, let's just stick to the facts. Not my opinion, but the facts is that it's a number 9th overall pick, and the other pick might be, I don't know, 22, 23, 25. So basically, you're getting a late first-round pick and a top 10 pick for Parayko.
Not bad.
Yeah, on paper. So my point is, you know, I took a lot of heat for the Robert Thomas discussion with you. I understand. Okay, fans like Michael Hage and et cetera, et cetera. But what I found interesting is that a lot of people thought that what I was suggesting made no sense. Okay, it's one thing to say that you want to keep Michael Hage, but it's another thing to say your trade proposal makes no sense.
No, that's it.
Because look at this trade for Parayko. This is a number 9 overall pick that is being traded away for this guy. And Robert Thomas, the Habs shouldn't offer more than Kapanen.
Come on now.
No,
the different levels here. Like Parayko's about here. Thomas is like, over here. He's going to cost a lot.
Yeah, and that's probably why more and more now I think he's going to stay put.
Yeah.
It seems like he's going to stay put because probably what the Blues wanted is exactly what I suggested. Because I think with Boston, they were talking about Higgins, Minton, and a first.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's what they want. They don't have to trade him. So you stick to your gun. It's more like you're fishing. If one team bites, okay. If they don't, we keep Robert Thomas. The only thing is, how does Robert Thomas feel? Because he is openly being shopped around. Openly.
Yeah.
I think that trade might be revisited at the draft.
Interesting. Okay.
I think it might be revisited this summer. Because it's rare that a guy will be part of heavy trade rumors like these, and he'll end up not being traded.
Yeah.
But look, there's a big show on Sig Podcast tomorrow with Tony and company, Sid. Hopefully we get a lot of action, and we will obviously recap all this Monday with an emphasis on any prospects that could be traded. But Murtka is probably the first, if the trade gets through, Murtka is the first, let's call it top prospect to be traded. Did you see something, Shayne?
I saw something, Slick. I'm going to bring it up right now.
Okay.
Get ready for this one, okay?
Bring it up. We're live.
Yeah. The Toronto Maple Leafs have traded Nicolas Roy to the Colorado Avalanche for a 2027 conditional first-round pick.
Okay.
And a 2026 conditional 5th-round pick.
Okay. Well, they're officially retooling, I would say. I wonder what the condition is. It's probably that the Avs get to the Final Four or something. We don't know what the conditions are yet.
Top 10 protected.
Top 10 protected. Okay, well, the Avs are not going to have a top 10 pick next year. Unless McKinnon and Makar are injured all year.
Huh.
So the Avs are loading up.
Yeah.
Roy is an amazing acquisition. We saw it in Vegas when he was playing in Vegas. This is one of the top bottom 6 players in the NHL. One of the top bottom 6 guys. I really love this trade. Yeah, but the first might be like 32nd, 31st, 30th overall. But look, the Leafs are doing what they should be doing. For the Avs, I absolutely love the trade. I think this is they're really loading up. They got Brett Kulak. I really, really like what the Avs are doing. They were my pick to win the Stanley Cup at the beginning of the year, and I don't think I'm going to change my pick.
Hard not to.
Although the playoffs, sometimes it's a little bit of a crapshoot, but I really like this trade for the Avs. Nicolas Roy, lots of experience in Vegas in the playoffs. What a great player. I have a little anecdote about Nicolas Roy, if I may. When I was working for Cape Breton in 2012, he was, or 2013, he was the number 1 overall pick of the QM JHL draft. We had the first pick. We picked him. He didn't want to play for the team. I think he wanted to stay home for school. And basically, we ended up trading him to Chicoutimi. And what happened is, over the next couple of years, is that he went from a top prospect to basically a fringe prospect, I would say, fringe NHL prospect. So in 2015, he was only chosen in the 3rd round by, was it Vegas? Yeah, it was Vegas, I think. And the Habs passed on him.
Mm.
They took Lucas Vedemo instead. I'm going to look it up. I even think he was a 4th-round pick, Nicolas Roy, because I want to get my story right. Nicolas Roy was a 4th-round pick by the Carolina Hurricanes. Sorry. He was traded to Vegas after 7 games in Carolina, and then he played 6 seasons for Vegas. And yeah, the Habs took Lucas Vedemo in the 3rd round instead of Roy. And this guy then in Chicoutimi, he had some good post-draft seasons, draft +1, draft +2 seasons. He didn't play much in the minor leagues, and maybe, I don't know, 150 games or so. And then he took off. And I think this is a very interesting story because he went from a guy who was, I'm describing his style of play in midget. He was kind of a Malkin type of guy. Very tall, would slow down the play, highly skilled, great hands. And then he carved himself a niche in the NHL of a bottom 6 player, but a very efficient one. And it goes to show you how sometimes, the curve, the career of a player can take.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went from like offensive superstar to bottom 6 player, but albeit a fantastic one.
That's it. Carved out a role.
Great fit in Colorado. They're not going to ask him to be a top 6 center because they have Brock Nelson and McKinnon.
No.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
There were rumors that, the Avs could potentially bring back Nazem Kadri. I think that closes that chapter. That's not happening now. Nicolas Roy can act as, a 3rd or 4th line center, but good get by the Avs. I like this. The first, when you see a first, you're always jumping back a little bit. But like you say, I think the Avs are banking on that first being very low. So again, it's more like a second in a sense.
And again, the Avs are going for the cup.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nathan McKinnon is 30 years old. I mean, what are they going to do? Just pile up draft picks in case, they want to do a rebuild? No, they're going for the cup. So I don't disagree with what they're doing. They're doing a little bit what Tampa has been doing for years and years and years. Because don't forget, with Makar and McKinnon and Landeskog and Rantanen at the time, a lot of people thought they were going to win a few cups, including myself.
Plural. Yep.
They have one. This is great. But in a way, they only have one with that group of players. So now is the time. Now is the time to get the second one.
Absolutely. Now, Snake, let's get back on the Robert Thomas discussion a little bit here because I'm curious. You think your prediction, if you will, would be that he remains a St. Louis Blue. And you know what? It always kind of flabbergasted me in a sense that he was being shopped around because Robert Thomas is an excellent player. I mean, like, excellent player. But again, I understand from the Blues' perspective of fielding offers, and if a team overpays, hey, you know what, we'll take that offer. But then again, you mentioned that he might be a little offended that he is being shopped around and might ask for a trade at the end of the day. So by 2027, which jersey is Robert Thomas wearing, in your opinion?
You mean by the end of, you mean 1 year from now?
Yeah.
Man, this is a tough question because you know how it is with trade rumors. You hear about 20 teams and then there's another one that makes the trade. Most of the time, these rumors don't pan out. Players involved get traded, but not to the teams that they were mentioned. I was thinking, I like the rumor of him going to the Bruins, but it depends on what the Bruins are going to do because Dean Letourneau is going to be ready within a couple of years. He can play center. Higgins can play center. I don't know if he's going to play center in Boston, but, he's another one that's coming. You know what? I would say Detroit.
You stole my idea, Snake. I was going to say Detroit.
I was going to say Detroit. Because they're the ones who need to speed it up now because they've been rebuilding for a while. And although they have progressed in the last couple of years, they're still not there yet. I think the Habs are better than they are. I think the Sabres are getting better than they are. And Boston is Boston. So I think Detroit will have to pull something out of their hat. And so I would say the Red Wings.
I mean, right now they're running Andrew Kopp as their second-line center.
If
that doesn't tell you they need a center, I don't know what will.
They need offense. They need offense.
But Robert Thomas would be
more than the Habs or Buffalo. Yeah.
And they have the assets, Snake. I think that's kind of the big part, too, of analyzing where Thomas could go, is that Detroit has the assets to pay. They have a lot of great prospects and an abundance of goaltenders. Yeah. We know St. Louis might be moving Jordan Binnington.
Yeah.
They have Joel Hofer. But you look at Detroit, who has Trey Augustine and Sebastian Cossa. I think they were going to run with Cossa. But, man, if you throw in Augustine in that deal, I think that gets
one of them will go. They have a bunch of young defensemen. Could Sandin Pellikka be part of a deal? I don't think they're going to trade Edvinsson. And Moritz Seider, forget it. So maybe a Sandin Pellikka, a goalie.
What about Nate Danielson? I've seen him a lot.
Yeah, that's a bottom 6 player at best. But still, he's a number 9th overall pick. So these guys have value for some reason, even though they've proven that they were not worthy of being the number 9 pick. So, I think Detroit would be a logical destination for Robert Thomas. Don't think it'll be tomorrow, but in a way, I wish it would be tomorrow because it'll give us something to talk about. And it's fresh out of the oven, with that trade proposal that I put together on Monday.
Exactly. No, I think maybe some Hab fans might be disappointed in us saying that we think he probably should and would go to Detroit, but really that makes the most sense in our minds. Snake, keeping on the train of predictions, within the next 24 hours, okay, is there a name that has kind of flown under the radar that you think could be moved that no one's really discussing right now?
Well, the other day I had a few names for you. You remember?
Yeah.
I put together some names, and obviously now I think that a guy like Charlie Coyle is not going to be moved because Columbus is in the running. Brayden Schneider, it seems very, very quiet, although we don't know. Ryan O'Reilly probably will stay, I would think. So I can't think of anyone in all the trade targets. I can't think of anyone. I remember I mentioned Warren Fogle, but it was just me. It was not a rumor. It was nothing that I read anywhere, or it was just my me trying to brainstorm about all this. So I really don't know who could be a sleeper traded player tomorrow.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to
it doesn't seem like the Habs are going to do much unless Kent Hughes is just waiting for the last second. Sometimes prices drop.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, a lot of the main free agents to be are being traded right now.
Yeah.
I wonder if they made an offer. I wonder if they made an offer for Nicolas Roy.
Maybe. I know.
But maybe they won't trade with the Leafs. Who knows? Yeah.
I know Pierre LeBrun reported that the Habs were in the running for Connor Murphy. Apparently, they did make an offer, but we don't know why it didn't happen. But my follow-up question to that would have been, looking at the prices that we're seeing. I mean, Colton Parayko going for a first and 9th overall pick. Do you think the Habs just not do anything because they're like, oh my God, this market is crazy right now.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Hughes has shown us over the last 4.5 years that basically when he's trading away futures like he did, he only really did it once, and it was for Noah Dobson, who he signed right away and who was only 25 years old.
Exactly.
And that's why I thought the Thomas deal could make sense, because he's 26 and he's under contract for 5 more years, but probably that the asking price was too high. And they probably figured that, okay, let's see what we have in Michael Hage before doing anything drastic. So because the Dobson trade, it was 2 first-round picks, 16 and 17, quite high picks. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's not players that the Habs had already drafted. So they were trading, I wouldn't say fluff, but I think you know what I mean. They were not trading anything tangible. Michael Hage was a 21st overall pick. Had they traded the 21st overall pick a couple of years ago, it would have been like, okay, they're trading 21st overall pick. But now we have seen what they have in Michael Hage in the last 2 years. And it's probably worth more than the 21st pick if we did a redraft of that of the 2024 draft. So I think you're right. I think prices are too high, and now the question is: are the Habs ready to give up 2nd and 3rd round picks to bulk up the lineup? Because we do know that they need a young defense, not a young, but they need a good 3rd pairing defenseman. They need more grit up front. At some point, Hughes is going to have to add this type of players, but maybe he doesn't think it's the year to do it.
That's it.
Mike Greer seems to think it's the year to do it, but not Ken Hughes.
Yeah. Listen, Snake, the reason I'm asking all these questions is because I actually do have a name that I want to run by you. And I didn't bring it up on Monday's show because I just forgot.
I'm curious.
The likelihood of it happening is very small. However, this name actually came from Pierre Maguire. Okay. He brought it up to me when we were doing a show during the Olympics. And it was after Canada versus Czechia. And a certain Philip Hronek played on that team on a tanking Vancouver Canucks. Right shot defenseman, 28 years old, 6 foot tall. However, full no move clause and $7 million a year until 2030 or 2031, something like that. So the contract is hefty, but is there any possibility you think of a marriage there between the Habs and Hronek?
No, because I think that Habs have enough offense on defense.
Yeah. The reason why he brought it up is because, you make the connection of, okay, he was Quinn Hughes' defense partner. Yes. Maybe he could be Lane Hutson's defense partner. He kind of knows how to play with that style of defense. But for that price, I mean, upwards of $7 million for quite a few years.
If they had not re-signed Mike Madison, I would have said yes. It's a possibility. But that money went to Madison. So I think the Habs have pretty much made their bed when it comes to their top defensemen. Yeah. Now they just have to iron it out, with a good number 5, number 6, and number 7 guys.
There you go.
Because I don't think, Caddy, Struble, and Jacky, I don't think all 3 will be there the day the Habs reach the Stanley Cup Finals. I doubt it. Maybe one of them, but I don't think the 3 of them will be there. So, but the rest, Madison, Goulet, Hudson, and who's the other guy? Dobson.
Yeah.
I think this is pretty much carved in stone. Angstrom could be one of the 3 guys remaining. So Reinbacher and 1 acquisition. Let's say.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's also a certain player by the name of Bryce Pickford who scored another hat trick yesterday.
Yeah, we'll see.
41 goals, Snake. What the hell?
It's weird. I mean, it's, even I, who had him as a sleeper last year, and he had started in the playoffs to score goals in a bunch, but it's kind of, those are video game numbers.
Yeah. He's
Yeah, for
almost a goal
defensemen.
per game.
Yeah, those are video game numbers. For a guy who was a third-round pick, was passed over in his first draft year, and for a guy who is not highly skilled, I mean, don't get me wrong. I liked him. Again, I had him on my sleeper list. I had 3 players on my sleeper list. I didn't have 20. I had 3 players. He was one of them. I liked him a lot at the Memorial Cup. But it's kind of interesting that you would imagine that 41 goals would have been scored by, I don't know, a guy like Xavier Villeneuve from Boisvert. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Some guys who are like danglers and absolutely spectaculars. Pickford is none of that. But he has such a great wrist shot. He has a fantastic wrist shot. I don't know where he's going to fit. I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing him in Laval next year. What is he going to do?
Yes.
Could he score 20 goals? Why not?
My God.
And then what do they do with him? Then either one of the Habs trade one of the guys that they have, if they really trust him, or they use him as a top prospect in a big trade. Because he's climbing up the rankings.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's climbing on there. He went from, undrafted guy to obscure third rounder to now he's like, okay, who is this guy?
He's a fringe A-level prospect at this point. Like, what he's doing
is
ridiculous.
Yeah, I would say he's a fringe A. Yeah. Oof. Because I don't think he has the defensive awareness to be considered the top prospect right now. So that's why I'm curious to see what's going to happen in Laval next year. But again, with defensemen, we have to be patient. Even if he stays 2 years in Laval, I mean, it's no big deal. But for sure, fans over there at the Place Belle, they're really going to enjoy that wrist shot. That's for sure. I can see I can see right now a few goals being scored that way by Pickford.
Well, before we move along, I want to invite all of you listeners to chime in the comments section. Let us know any predictions you may have for the next 24 hours. What are the Habs going to do? What's your favorite team going to do? We also have more than just Habs fans watching us, okay? So we want to hear your takes. Where does Robert Thomas go? Or does he go at all? Let us know. Snake, before we move along, of course, I think it's a perfect opportunity for me to tell all of our great listeners about our sponsors here at the Sick Podcast. And I want to start off with Cheapest T-shirts. If you're looking for the cheapest prices on wholesale apparel in Canada, you will find them at cheapesttshirts.ca. They're proudly Canadian and trusted by thousands of customers from coast to coast. They deliver unbeatable value every single day. You'll always get the cheapest prices, plus same-day shipping and even next-day delivery, so your order arrives fast. Cheapesttshirts.ca is the go-to source for teams, businesses, events, apparel printing companies, resellers, and it's also just perfect for individual shoppers who want the best deals on everyday apparel. Enjoy free shipping on larger orders and a simple, easy-to-use website that makes online ordering a breeze. Get the cheapest deals in Canada today at cheapesttshirts.ca. And of course, they've been with us since the beginning. We want to give a big shout out to our friends at Betway. Don't select the bus with Betway and get a deposit matchup bonus up to $300 on your first deposit. You can scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account and redeem your welcome offer. The offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. The offer is not available in Ontario, and you must be 18 years or older. Please play responsibly. Snake, I don't know if you're aware of this. I know your favorite sport is actually football, and there was a pretty significant football trade that just went down.
DJ Moore
to the Buffalo Bills. How about that?
I'm not surprised because the Bears, they already have Rome Odunze, and they drafted this other guy last year, Luther Burden. Mm-hmm. They have Loveland at tight end position. So, look, DJ Moore was just a luxury, I would say.
Yeah. And
Buffalo needs receivers. So I think it's a good trade for both teams. And that offense in Chicago is young with Caleb Williams and those 3 guys. They're going to be good for solid 4, 5, 6 years.
There you go.
Yeah, I like watching the Bears. They're fun. Caleb Williams, he has to polish up a little bit on his play, but he is fun to watch, just like he was at USC when he won the Heisman Trophy. So I was aware of that trade. It's a significant one for those who follow football. Free agency starts next Monday.
Mm-hmm. That's it. No, I like Ben Johnson a lot. I'm interested in what the Bears can do. But this was just an opportunity for me to plug some of our shows at the Sick Podcast, because we don't just do hockey here. We do football too, and a whole lot of football. On the Sick Podcast Network, we have the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank, okay, from the NFL Network, who covers all things Bears. And we also have the Sick Podcast Bills Banter with former Bills wide receiver Stevie Johnson, okay? So if you like football, if you like any of those teams, go check out our other shows, okay? The Sick Network is vast, and it's good. It's great quality, let me tell you. So anyways, sidebar here, back to hockey now. Snake, I think it is time for us to go digging in the mailbag. First question is coming from Francois Bert. We've all admired Hugo's patience and intelligence towards building a cup contender, not for 1 or 2 years, but for 5 to 8 years. Why on earth would we want Hugo to do away with their strategy just to advance one more round in this year's playoffs? So essentially, Francois is talking about what we've been talking about for a long time, which is trusting the process and not rushing it, right? A lot of people want the Habs to make these short-term moves in a sense to get better now. So Francois is against that idea. What do you think, Snake?
Well, I do agree with Francois if he's talking about Jason Dickinson being traded to the Oilers for a first-round pick.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't have done this deal had I been the Habs, and they didn't do it, obviously. But if Francois is referring to the Robert Thomas idea, Robert Thomas, is 26, under contract for 5 years, and at a very reasonable $8 million salary. So I do think that a Robert Thomas trade would be very similar to a Noah Dobson trade.
Mm-hmm.
No one complained when the Habs traded the 16th and the 17th pick overall for Noah Dobson.
And it's looking like a good trade.
No one complained. Because like I said earlier in the podcast, there were no players attached to those 16th and 17th pick. Whereas right now, Michael H. has been drafted, and he's now a known commodity to Habs fans.
Mm-hmm.
So, are people seeing him bigger than he is? I don't know. But one thing is sure is that if the Habs made a move for Robert Thomas, they would not be mortgaging the future to just win one round.
Exactly. He's under contract for a while, and he fits the age range of this team. So,
but I do agree with Francois that if it's for a Jason Dickinson or any first-round pick right now for a rental player, would not be a good idea.
No, exactly. No. All right. Second question. This one is coming from Rick Woods. First question, any meet and greet with the two of you as in the past? Well, if you're referring to when we were at the Laval Rocket game, the Laval Rocket opener, that was probably our only sort of meet and greet. We could try to set one up at some point. We haven't really had the discussion, but anyways, we'll move on to question 2 now. Goaltender prospects, okay? The play of Alexis Cournoyer at Cornell, Ken Dryden's stomping grounds, with a goals against average of 2.02, a save percentage of .917, and you have Quentin Miller at University of Denver with a goals against of 2.39 and a percentage of .916. And then you have Yevgeny Volokhin in the VHL with a goals against of 1.54 and a save percentage of .947. Now, these numbers aren't new for Volokhin, and all three are showing promising futures. What happens in less than 3 years with all 5? Should they all remain consistent? And when he says 5, I'm assuming you're referring to Fowler and Dobesh probably, along with those 3. In my opinion, Volokhin could be the best of them all. Wow.
A lot of not a lot of teams, but I would say it happens that a team will have on the surface a fantastic horde of goalies at the early stage of their careers. I mean, all these guys are very, very young, 19, 20.
Yeah.
And you really don't have an answer about goalies before they move up and move up and move up. NCAA stats can be misleading sometimes because it's, especially for certain universities or certain conferences, it's not very wide open. We saw it with Caden Primo. Caden Primo had fantastic stats in the NCAA, but so did Jacob Fowler. So you can't really say, oh, well, Primo had great stats, he didn't pan out. Fowler had great stats, he won't pan out. No, you can't say that. But all I'm saying is that you have to be cautious about these guys. Now, are these three guys talented? Yes. Are these three guys trending up? I would say yes. Volokin, before his draft year, was excellent. Then last year, he had a really, really bad year because he moved up a level and he wasn't very good. But now he's in the VHL. He's at the right place for him. And is he the one with the most potential? I don't know. But recent history has shown us that there's a lot of good Russian goalies out there. It seems like a very good factory for goalies. Yeah. Now, as for Cournoyer, what I liked about him is how the progression. I mean, this guy 14 months ago was playing junior A hockey in the Maritimes. He came to Cape Breton last season, finished the season. He was fantastic. He got drafted. Okay. Who had Alexis Cournoyer on their draft list in September 2024? 9 months before he's drafted. I don't think many had him. He got drafted, great draft pick. He went to Cornell. Again, great move. He's doing very well. But Cornell doesn't play in a great conference. Scores are not very high, but still, I've seen him play. I like his technique. I like his character. So that's good. Quentin Miller, he was supposed to play in the Memorial Cup last year for Rimouski, but he was injured. He made the move to the NCAA. I would say he kind of surprised me this year. He kind of surprised me. I didn't think he would be as good. But what do we do if all of them pan out? Well, first of all, you have to think, where are they going to play? Assuming that they're not with the Habs, okay? You have 2 goalie spots in Laval and 2 goalie spots in Trois-Rivières. In Laval, I think you can share duties because they play, 76 games or so? So you can play like 40, 35 or something like that. I think it would work to have 2 young goalies. Trois-Rivières, you have to give the net to one guy, I would say, for him to progress because it's a lower caliber league. But I think there's nothing to do right now except wait. We all know that chances are that one of them at some point will go down the charts. Another one will be so-so, and one of them will be the goalie in Laval.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what the odds are saying. So I don't get too excited, but what I get excited about is when you have 3 of them at that age. Your odds of getting one good goalie are better than if you only have one.
Yeah, of course.
And they have Jacob Fowler. So I think it's good. Now, do these guys have any trade value? Well, one general manager told my colleague Mathias Brunet a couple of years ago that unless you were a first-round pick, American Hockey League or minor league goalies don't have much value on the trade market because they haven't proven anything. So a team prefers to go with, a career backup who's like 33 years old, who's been playing in the league for 7-8 years, than to trade for an NCAA goalie. So these guys don't have much value, but, unless you're Askarov. Askarov was traded for a first-round pick and a late first-round pick and a B prospect. That was his value. And you know what? He was the top prospect goalie at the time. And what they got the late first. So what can you get, let's say, for, I don't know, a Cournoyer 3 years down the road who's doing well in Laval or Trois-Rivières? I don't think they're going to be. I don't think these guys are really assets that accumulate for trade purposes. I think these guys you accumulate in order to win the lottery with one of the tickets.
Think Connor Hellebuyck.
That's my take on the goalies.
Think Connor Hellebuyck, late round pick and turned out to win the Hart Trophy. I mean, that's an extreme example, but really that's what it is.
That's why I like the Habs strategy to draft goalies. You know, they got Radkov. Radkov's not doing great this year. But you know what? When you draft so many, you're hoping that one pops out. So I think they will keep drafting goalies. They have Vincent Riendo in the organization. I think who's their goalie scout guru. Yep. So I really like that strategy because in the 4th, 5th, 6th round pick, why draft a guy who has a 1% chance of making the NHL when a goalie actually it's trickier. So maybe the guy has a 10 or 20% chance of making it. So go draft goalies in the late rounds.
Very interesting conversation and great question from Rick and great questions as always. We invite them in, of course, send in your questions, whatever they may be. We're going to try to get to them. And Snake, this is going to about wrap up our trade deadline coverage. Of course, we're going to revisit some of the big moves on Monday, but in terms of, pre-deadline, that's it for us at Trust the Process. But that's not it for us because we're going to be joining Tony tomorrow. So this is the schedule, okay, for everybody watching it on Thursday or Friday morning, whatever it may be. Tony is going to be on, okay? You see 6:03, the last line here. Tony's going to be on, of course, in French at 10 a.m. from 10 to 12. And then in English from 12 to 5:30. And there's going to be a rotation. It's not going to be Tony the whole time, of course. He's going to need to eat. He's going to need to use the washroom. You know what I mean? Take a break. So I'm going to be filling in. Matt O'Hayen's going to be filling in. Eric Oziel is going to be filling in. We're going to have a nice little rotation and guests such as Snake, such as Pierre Maguire. Jimmy Murphy is going to jump on from the eye test. It's going to be a great coverage from 12 to 5:30. And Tony is back in English for a post-game show after the Ducks game at 11:45 or around there, depending on if it goes to overtime. It's a full day of sick tomorrow, Friday, March 6th. Make sure you're there. We also have the Sid Sixero show covering Toronto sports. He's going to be live at 12 again, talking about the deadline. Apologies. And all the moves that the Leafs make. So if you're interested in that, do go check them out. And the eye test as well with Pierre Maguire and Jimmy Murphy are going to be live at 12. So listen, we're going all out. We are going all out, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. We appreciate the support and the engagement and all of you who are going to tune in advance. But that's going to do it for us here today, right now. Snake, anything else to add before we bounce?
No, just get better because there's a big day coming up tomorrow, and I'll be available whenever you guys want me on the air.
I'm going to be pounding some halls and some tea. Some herbal tea to try to get better. Anyways, I'll see what I can do. I'll try to get as much sleep as I can, but we know how that works. Tony's going live at 10 tonight, so I'm not getting any sleep. But it's okay. We're going to power through. We're having fun. It's the most special time of the year here, so hopefully some big moves go down. So far, it's an interesting deadline, to say the least. Snake, thank you so much for this show. It was a blast. Thank you to Jimmy at Master Control. I'm producer Shayne. This has been another edition of the Sick Podcast. Trust the process. We'll be back on Monday. Take care.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast, Trust the Process on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.